Hi, my name's Jamie Turner. I'm the founder of 60secondmarketer.com, and we are here on air with Jamie Turner. I'm joined by Tara Scarlett, the interestingly named Tara Scarlett, and we can get into that in a minute, with the Coca-Cola Company and your Senior Manager, Precision and Mobile Marketing at Coca-Cola. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about what you do at Coca-Cola.
So my role is focused within the U.S. division, and it's focused on all of digital planning for all of our brands. So we've got what's considered sparkling and still brands, brands with bubbles and brands without bubbles, more or less. And my team is responsible for digital planning across all digital platforms, mobile inclusive of that, as well as web, as well as other digital assets that we have in our asset base.
Cool, so you're going across a broader spectrum than somebody just focusing on mobile.
That's correct. I also lead our Mobile Center of Excellence, which is a cross-functional team to help educate and inspire all of our associates, as well as provide tools and resources. So helping kind of bring mobile into all of our planning.
Excellent. What are some of the more successful campaigns that you've done for Coca-Cola that have worked, and what have you learned from those?
So probably the longest running and the most successful program that we have in mobile is within My Coke Rewards. And it's going to be an SMS program. And so a text-based program, and it also has mobile web. We've been running this now for 6 years. And it's about pulling and pushing connections with our consumers, creating a dialogue via just a simple message that goes out to our consumers so they can respond to us.
Gotcha.
And you know, if you think about the landscape of the mobile world, and especially within this My Coke Rewards program, which, just to explain it, is it's our online loyalty program. And so consumers can purchase our products, they can find PIN codes on the products and enter them into the website or on text or also on the mobile side as well.
Gotcha.
And so it's our opportunity to engage consumers as well as drive brand love. So consumers' love of our brands through campaigning, as well as try to drive volume for the organization.
Given that, what's the process you go through when you're sitting down and saying, okay, it's time to start a new mobile campaign or cross-platform campaign? What's what goes through your mind when you start thinking about it? Because a lot of our viewers are people who are in marketing at various corporations around the globe, and they'd love to know the process you go through as you think through what you're going to do for a campaign.
Well, we start with two things. Number one is, what's the brand objective? What are they trying to achieve? But number two, what is the consumer behavior? How is a consumer interacting with our brands, our programs? Where are our consumers interacting digitally? Start there.
Gotcha.
And so a lot of times you'll find, especially nowadays, that mobile is the center of a consumer's behavioral point. Although it's the lowest common denominator, especially the phone is so small, it has the highest potential engagement.
Gotcha.
And so if we start with a mobile first, and also social first, combining mobile and social together help drive and amplify all of our campaigns and programs. But mobile doesn't sit on an island, nor does social. It has to integrate across all platforms. So if you think about it just from a consumer behavior perspective, it maps across all these different elements, and it's our opportunity to have our messages where it's appropriate.
Is that hard to get that to go across? I mean, are you working with different divisions within Coca-Cola, or is it like it's all yours and you can go across all these? How hard is that? That's a can of worms, I'm sure.
Let's see, yes. We've got our strategic marketing group is based, we have a media, so really kind of looking at how do we place our media, how do we garner the largest amount of exposure for our campaigns. We have a group that focuses on building content. What's the core creative idea of a campaign? How should it come to life creatively? And then we have our digital platforms group, which is the group that I reside in, which helps all of these different programs come to life across all of our digital platforms.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So what are some of the lessons that you've learned? You've done a lot of different campaigns. You've had successes. You've had things like all businesses that weren't as successful as you might have planned. What are the things that you've drawn from that as you enter into the next phase and doing other campaigns that you could share with us?
You know, we have an approach called test, learn, and apply. Because mobile, when it first came into the space, it was like, well, we may have more smartphones, we may not. We need to understand how consumers' behavior is moving. And so immediately we jumped in and said, how can we test? If we see the trends of consumer adoption of technology growing, we've got to be ahead of that ball. And so being able to test new technology that's coming about to engage our consumers with our programs is one of the best things that you can possibly do. But testing comes along with a broader spectrum. You can't just test all the time. So we have an approach called 70-20-10. 70% of our time and energy is put onto technology, marketing, digital technology that already exists that we know works. That's the bulk of our programming. 20% is what are the things that is scalable. We need to test it a little bit more, understand how that eventually will move into the 70% stream, but let's spend some time testing and learning more about that.
Yeah.
The 10% is what's the innovation? Where should we really be focusing future, 5, 10 years out?
Yeah.
Where should we be focusing on and start beginning to pull that into our system to be able to test it so that by the time that becomes mainstream for consumers,
Excellent.
we're already there.
Excellent. So it's built into the system that you're trying to be innovative with 10% of what you're doing, just to make sure that when things come online, you're already there. And
Absolutely.
it's what has made Coca-Cola Coca-Cola. Excellent. I got the hardest question of all, which is, where'd you get the name Tara Scarlett? Tell us that.
I was the first girl born after the book came out in our family. So it made total logical sense for my name to be Tara Scarlett.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I sure do appreciate it. My name's Jamie Turner. This has been On Air with Jamie Turner. Thanks for joining us.